now on KCRA 3.
Soaring temperatures, dozens head to the water to cool off. Officials reminding swimmers of dangers on the rivers, what you need to keep in mind before you take a dip.
And it's been another hot day. We'll take a look at those numbers and just how warm it's going to get for the rest of your weekend, when the Delta breeze will arrive to help cool things down, coming up in your forecast.
And the immigration debate continues. Protests at the border, some even stopping a bus carrying migrants, while the president today continues to blame Democrats for not passing an immigration bill.
Where the news comes first. This is KCRA 3 News at 6.
Rafting, boating, swimming, fishing. The triple-digit heat this weekend has a lot of people heading to the rivers. Everyone looking for a way to cool off.
And a live look outside right now at Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto, in Fairfield, and up in the Sierra at Lake Tahoe. Triple-digit heat for most of the area, even in the Sierra, the high 80s. The Sierra and the coast are the only areas where you'll get some relief from the heat this weekend. The soaring temperatures are going to stick around, though, for at least another day. And
it can impact your health if you aren't hydrating. Fire dangers are also factors in this heat as well. And we have team coverage of this heat, its impact, and what folks are doing to stay cool today.
That's right. KCRA 3's Max Resnick is live along the Sacramento River. But first, we begin with meteorologist Dirk Verdorn with where these temperatures stand right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at temperatures currently ranging in the triple digits from Yuba City at 102 degrees. We're at 100 in Fairfield and Sacramento, 103 in Stockton, and 100 degrees currently in Modesto. So this is where we have it. It's mainly in the valley, but it's still plenty warm into the foothills with temperatures in the 90s, and we have 80s for Truckee and Lake Tahoe. Now, conditions, we're going to see a slow cool down as we go through the night tonight. Temperatures are going to be ranging in the upper 90s by 7 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, 90 degrees. We're going to keep clear skies by 11 o'clock and 81 degrees. By midnight, we could still see some areas in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Now, eventually, we will cool down into the upper 60s to lower 70s, but there's more heat ahead, and we'll take a look at that. And we're going to take a look at when the Delta breeze will return to help cool things off coming up.
All right, thanks for that, Dirk. And the heat is certainly drying out all of the grasslands in the area, and that means there is more fuel for fires.
So, Dirk, is there any wind that could heighten the fire risks today?
Yeah, well, we're seeing that right now. We have a red flag warning. This is going to be up through Sunday evening, 8 p.m. And this is that north wind that's bringing about some low humidity. Of course, also with the high temperatures that we're seeing, those humidities are going to be very low in the afternoon, anywhere between 6 to 12% humidities. North winds anywhere from 10 to 25 miles per hour. Now, we've been seeing some of the stronger winds today, mainly along the west side of the Sacramento Valley. That's where the fire danger is going to be at its best. But then we see a shift in the winds as we head into tomorrow. And this is important because this is going to help out the fire situation. So right now we have a north wind. We're expecting to have those winds shifting more to more of an onshore breeze. And that's going to help to raise humidities a bit and also give us some cooler temperatures. But right now we're looking at humidities ranging in the teens in most spots. We're down to below that. We're at 12% humidity currently in Stockton and Modesto. So again, very low humidity, high temperatures, spelling a danger for fires right now.
All right, Dirk, thanks for that. And we know that there's a lot of people out there that are heading onto the American River to cool off, but there are some serious safety concerns, especially after a drowning of a little boy last night.
And KCRA3's Max Resnick is live along the American River right now with safety tips along the water. Max.
Kathy, Walter, good evening. Of course, first and foremost, if you are on the American River or you're on the Sacramento River, if you're playing around it or in it, first responders want to make sure that you are wearing a life jacket. Additionally, if you are drinking alcohol and you happen to be on the American River, first responders also want you to take into account how that might affect your body as you get into this colder water. The rafts floating down the American River come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, some even mythical creatures.
If you're gonna be jealous of a certain raft, you gotta be jealous of the unicorn.
Caitlin Zinnel and her family plan to cool off as triple-digit heat settles over Sacramento. While fun is the focus, safety is also top of mind.
You can drown out there. That river can it jumps up and bites you. My neighbor in Rancho Cordova at one of my rental houses, he just passed away on the 17th while fishing. And you got to be careful out there. You got to be smart.
It's a message shared by Sacramento's Drowning Accident Rescue Team on what they believe will be their busiest day of the year.
You know, you mix things like alcohol and people who aren't experienced swimmers, and then bad practices like not wearing a life jacket, and it can be deadly out here.
Both the rescue team and Sacramento County Regional Parks remind rafters that while the air temperature is above 100 degrees, the water temperature is far from it.
With the alcohol kind of blocking the sensory, areas of your body, you might not realize you're exposing yourself to potential hypothermia.
Commander Wade Derby says there's no alcohol ban on the river today, aside from areas where it's permanently prohibited. A decision made based on crowd size, past rafting events, and impacts on raft rental businesses. But today will be used to determine future bans.
We're still vigilant, obviously, for any problems that may start up, but as far as wanting people to recreate and be responsible, we're trying to give them the opportunity to do that.
An approach rafters say they plan on taking while soaking up some sun.
Because it's a very relaxing day with friends and beautiful river and beautiful weather.
And once again, the first responders can't stress it enough. The Sacramento Regional Parks, as well as the Drowning Accident and Rescue Team, want you to be in life jackets if you are around the rivers. If you don't have some, you can borrow them. They're at area fire stations. They're also at river access points. Reporting live along the American River, Max Resnick, KCRA 3 News.
Some important reminders. Thanks for that report, Max.
And there are a few other things you need to keep in mind when you head out to the river. First, it is now the law that boaters under the age of 20 must pass a boating safety exam. Second, boaters and personal watercraft must not go faster than 5 miles per hour within 200 feet from the beach or just 100 feet from a swimmer. And lastly, it is against the law for children 13 and under to go into the river without a life jacket. And to keep track of the triple-digit heat, just download the free KCRA 3 app and you can get an hour-by-hour forecast for your neighborhood.
Well, the immigration debate continues today. Several rallies were held at the border. Some 5,000 people gathered in San Diego today, even after the president signed an executive order to not separate illegal immigrant families. Protesters demand that families be reunited immediately and kept in better conditions.
We want you to keep showing up to demand that the U.S. government does not set up internment camps for refugee families where they can be held indefinitely.
Well, the government says that it has reunited hundreds of migrant families with their children. Hundreds more have not. In Texas, protesters blocked the bus carrying migrant children from the U.S.-Mexico border. Local and state police worked to help the bus driver maneuver through the crowd of demonstrators. Many protesters carried American flags and reached towards the children inside the bus. The bus eventually left, but it's not clear where that bus was headed. Also in McAllen, Texas, a congressional delegation composed of 25 Democratic members met at an immigration detention facility there. The Trump administration announced yesterday that immigration authorities may seek up to 15,000 beds to detain families who are stopped at the border. Democratic members of Congress spoke out against the proposed expansion today after visiting with detainees who they say have been sleeping in cages with Mylar blankets.
Here they actually have a mat on which to sleep. But it is, for all intents and purposes, a prison. They're cages. And I think all of us will have a different perspective, certainly. But this is not the way we treat people who are seeking asylum in this country.
Since April, more than 2,300 children have been taken from their parents.
Meantime, President Trump today continued to blame the Democrats for failing to pass a bill in Congress on immigration reform. Today in Las Vegas at the GOP Convention Center, while campaigning for Senator Dean Heller, the president said previous administrations should have solved the problem years ago. He also says being weak on the border will allow criminals into the country.
And on immigration, we have to be very strong. I mean, everybody sees, but this is the same site that Obama had, that Bush had, same site. It's the same thing. In fact, they said, look at this site. Look at President Trump. Look at this picture. Excuse me. It was 2014. It was President Obama. Our issue is strong borders, no crime. Their issue is open borders. Let MS-13 all over our country. That's what's going to happen.
And the president went on to say that no matter what legislation comes before Democrats, they would not sign it. Meantime, Congressman Jeff Denham from Turlock says he is working through the weekend to find some kind of middle ground on an immigration bill. KCRA3's Kevin Oliver caught up with the congressman in Stockton today. Denham says the immigration system needs a top-to-bottom reform. He wants to provide support for an earned path to citizenship and hopes to vote this coming week on an immigration bill.
Republicans and Democrats should come together on a bipartisan bill that actually resolves this once and for all, not only keeping families together, But we've got this whole other issue with Dreamers that have done exactly what their government has asked them to do. They've come forward, they've passed background checks, they've paid a fine and a fee, and just want to work or go to school in our community. So we need to pass this legislation to have a permanent fix for Dreamers, but also resolve this immediate problem of unaccompanied minors coming across the border and keeping families unified.
And Denham has a proposal called the Enlist Act that would allow Dreamers to enlist in military to gain legal status.
In the meantime, a possible detention center may be built in the East Bay. The zero tolerance policy has created pressure to find space for tens of thousands of children. Time magazine is reporting that they have obtained exclusive documents that a detention center will be built in Concord. And that shows the U.S. Navy is planning to construct detention centers, including one at the former Naval Weapons Station. Time reports that about 47,000 people will be housed in a camp there. Another 47,000 will be housed at Camp Pendleton on the Southern California coast. This leaked document came as a shock to elected officials in the area.
We don't want to be part of it. It's bad for our country, bad for our state, bad for our county, bad for our community.
This is not acceptable. And as I've said, it's not acceptable because it's not practical. And we don't want to be part of this unethical, immoral policy that the administration is pursuing.
And the Navy is responding to these reports, saying, quote, it would be inappropriate to discuss internal deliberative planning documents. Our NBC sister station, NBC Bay Area, contacted multiple Republican elected officials about the possible detention centers, and they all said that they would like more information before commenting.
And here is a live look at the Golden One Center right now. It's somewhere over there where the latest draft pick will be joining the Sacramento Kings this upcoming season. The newest member, Marvin Bagley III, made a special appearance today for some lucky boys and girls in the Kings and Queens Rise Basketball League. He surprised everyone there with some welcoming words and a few pointers as well.
That's right. KCRA 3's Tish Palmadesi was also there for the special event and has this story.
The Kings and Queens Co-ed Basketball League in Sacramento were treated to a royal welcome from Marvin Bagley III. He stopped by the Boys and Girls Club of Sacramento on his way to his first official press conference as a member of the royal court.
1, 2, 3. I love it here, man. Everybody's real genuine. I can feel love. I'm excited to get this thing rolling and get it started.
Bagley rolled through, spending time not only showing off his skills and technique with the boys and girls, but taking time out to chat, take selfies, judge a dance competition, and of course, sign autographs.
It feels good to be here and just being able to put smiles on their faces.
We got blessed and that we got to meet him and got a t-shirt. It was pretty cool. It feels exciting.
For the kids in attendance and for Bagley, the experience not only exciting, but something neither will soon forget.
It feels like a dream. It feels real, feels really good. That really does something to me because I feel like I will be somebody, like, you know, when I get older. Because he plays good, you know, and I want to play like him.
It's always good to get back and show people that you care. So I'm having a great time, and I most definitely will be doing stuff like this in the future.
In Sacramento, Tish Palmadesi, KCRA 3 News.
Pretty good surprise. The Kings and Queens Rise Basketball League is a partnership led by the Build Black Coalition and the Sacramento Kings. The league focuses on positive environments through community building and sportsmanship. And coming up a little later on in sports, the Kings make it official and hold their introductory press conference, where you'll hear more from Bagley.
All right, we are following some breaking news right now out of Sacramento. You're looking at a fire over on 35th Street and Martin Luther King Boulevard. You can see the smoke billowing up into the air right there. We don't have a lot of information, but what we do know is that the fire is taking place. We have a crew on the way to the scene right now to find out what kind of fire this is and what may have started it. We will bring you more information as that information becomes available. In the meantime, back here lacing up for the big games. Up next, we look at the Special Olympics underway right now in Davis and the gifts from students that are making a big difference.
And while many focus on immigration issues on our southern borders, U.S. officials detain a woman on the Canadian border. What happened and why some are calling the situation unfair?
And still to come, discrimination by Uber. A woman says that she was denied a ride because she was in a wheelchair. Going for gold. Today, athletes laced up their running shoes for the Special Olympics being held this weekend at UC Davis.
And it's leaving a big impact on those taking part.
It means a lot. It's more like, wow, I did something really big. It's a real big accomplishment.
Well, it is day 2 of the Special Olympics Summer Games. More than 1,000 athletes and coaches from 32 different counties are competing.
KCRA 3's Leticia Ordaz shows us how some West Sacramento first graders are helping dozens of adult athletes cross the finish line with some newfound confidence.
This weekend, the Discovery All-Stars from Sacramento are competing in the Special Olympics Summer Games with more speed.
That's my favorite color, red.
Rodney Hayes has some new kicks, shoes that were purchased by their coach, Mrs. Kawamura's first grade class.
I wasn't shocked. I was happy they did it, but I was like surprised that what some of the things they did, raise money, stuff for us to get some shoes. So I'm very proud of them.
I'm about ready to cry because they have given so much to them. Some of these guys didn't have shoes. They had holes in the bottom of their shoes and they were running, and I wasn't aware of it until we started changing shoes.
Mrs. K came up with a service project for her students from Our Lady of Grace School in West Sacramento. They could do chores and buy one pair of shoes for one deserving athlete on her team. 6- and 7-year-olds exceeded her expectations by hosting a big lemonade stand back in February.
We got $96 so far.
The first graders managed to raise enough funds to purchase 35 new pairs of shoes for Miss K's athletes. Rodney says during his 100-meter race this weekend, he felt unstoppable.
I'm glad that I won them because, you know, more comfortable and I could run faster in my tennis shoes.
Very inspiring. They run their hearts out. They do their best every time they get on the track. And so it's a lot of fun to see them accomplish their goals after all this training we've done.
Other athletes say the act of kindness from some first graders does more than just give them a new pair of shoes.
So when we're out here, we're actually the stars. They just shine. This spotlight is on us for once.
In between training for the Summer Games, they got to visit and personally thank the class that showed their big heart. And the 60 athletes say they are forever grateful to their longtime coach who shows them daily they can get through anything.
Yeah, I feel like they really care about us and stuff, so I feel like they really did something right. It's awesome. I wish there was more classes like that out there.
In West Sacramento, Leticia Ordaz, KCRA 3 News.
Well, the Special Olympics Summer Games continues through tomorrow. Bocce, tennis, and swimming competitions are all scheduled for tomorrow. Well, athletes are making sure to stay hydrated in this triple-digit heat by drinking plenty of water and looking for shade. And while athletes have been training with their coaches all year long, but most didn't train for this heat wave. So coaches, athletes, and fans are all making sure that they're taking precautions. There's plenty of water on hand to make sure that everyone was hydrated, and icy water where people dipped in their shirts and bandanas to wear. A great idea to keep cool in this hot weather.
And of course, this heat is making it a little bit more challenging for any outdoor activity. Some people are kind of done with this heat. So, Dirk, when can we expect this cool off?
Yeah, I highly recommend you just stay indoors during the hottest part of the day when we're in those triple digits. But tonight, it's going to be a warm evening as well, and we'll take a closer look at that right now. Let's take a look at what conditions are like, and we have clear skies overhead. The winds, a little bit of a north breeze in spots. Winds have tapered off a little bit, but we're still running at 100 degrees out at the Executive Airport in Sacramento with a northwest wind blowing at 12 miles per hour. In Stockton, 103 degrees with the northwest wind blowing at 15 miles per hour, while Modesto still holding on to 100 degrees with a northwest wind blowing at 16 miles per hour. Again, clear skies throughout the area, including Fairfield, where temperatures have dropped below 100. It's sitting at 99 degrees with the northeast wind at 6 miles per hour. Very dry conditions as well. Around Lake Tahoe, we're at 14% humidity. Fairly calm conditions. Looks like there's a little breeze out there and a current temperature of 80 degrees. So it's been a very warm day in the Sierra, and it's been a hot day in up and down the valley with temperatures that made their way up to 103 degrees in Marysville. 101 was the daytime high today in Fairfield as well as Sacramento. Lakeport, you had 100 degrees today, 105 degrees in Stockton and 101 degrees in Modesto. Temperatures in the 90s for Auburn and Placerville and 80s for Truckee and Lake Tahoe. So a lot of heat to go all around, and even in San Francisco warmed up into the 80s today. Reason why? Well, there's no marine layer. Low cloud cover? Not there. In fact, it's just sunny skies and along the coast as well as the Bay Area. Beautiful day to go to the beach. Some folks, I'm sure, enjoyed that. Futurecast showing us that we will see a return, though, of that low cloud cover, and we'll start to see it as early as Sunday morning. We may start seeing some of that low cloud cover. It's not going to be very thick. Here we are, 7 a.m., and we'll start to see those low clouds just off the coast of San Francisco, and that will continue to thicken up as we make our way through Sunday afternoon. Here we are by 4 p.m., and look at the low cloud cover stretching from north to south, and that is a sure sign that we'll start to see more of an onshore breeze pick up, and that'll really help bring temperatures down as we get that delta breeze by Monday morning, 7 a.m. We have low cloud cover across San Francisco and even making its way into the East Bay, and we could even see some of that low cloud cover creeping into the Delta by Monday morning, and that's going to make for a nice cool start for your day on Monday, and it'll impact temperatures through the afternoon. Even though we're expecting lots of sunshine, it'll bring temperatures down into the lower 90s, so that'll be something to look forward to. 85 in Truckee, 83 in Lake Tahoe tomorrow for your Sunday. In Quincy, 98 degrees with northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so there's still some heat out there. 97 in Auburn, 96 in Jackson. Angels Camp warming up to 98 degrees. Bay Area, though, a bit cooler, noticeably cooler. 69 in San Francisco, 86 in San Jose, 88 in Concord, and look at Fairfield, 87 degrees as opposed to the 100 that we saw today. Now, there will still be some heat, and I think we're going to see some triple digits stretching through Stockton and Manteca, 99 in Tracy, 101 in Modesto, as well as Turlock. So the farther away you get from the Delta breeze influence, the warmer your temperatures will be, because it's just going to take longer for that cooler air to make its way up and down the valley. So we will see its impact again by Sunday night and into Monday for pretty much everybody, more widespread cooling there. 103 in Yuba City, 100 tomorrow in Woodland, and your Sunday afternoon in Vacaville. It got up to 105 today. Should only be 92 degrees, so you're going to be noticing that for your Sunday. 7-day forecast has temperatures in Sacramento, 98 degrees, dropping off to 92 by Monday. We do bump it up into the mid-90s by Tuesday, but we stay in that kind of mid to low 90s range through the rest of the week and on into next weekend, with lots of sunshine, and again, more importantly, those overnight temperatures cooling off nicely, getting back into the 50s.
Okay,
so
that's going to feel real
nice.
Relief.
All
right, Dirk, thanks.
All right, we are following some breaking news out of Sacramento. Take a look here. We now know that this is a 2-alarm fire. It's taking place on 35th Street and Martin Luther King Boulevard. We know that crews are working to protect some of the structures in that area. We still don't know what kind of fire this is or what has caused it, but we do have a crew on the way to the scene right now to find out more details, and we will be sure to bring that information to you as soon as we get it. All right, makeup, glitter, and costumes. Up next, we take a look at the fans flooding into the convention center in Sacramento and how they're coping with the heat. Welcome back. We continue to follow breaking news out of Sacramento. We now know that this is a 2-alarm fire taking place on 35th Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard. And while crews are working to protect some of the structures in that area, we have learned that at least one structure is on fire. We've also learned that this is a vegetation fire. So we will continue to follow this for you. We don't know exactly what has caused this fire yet, but when we get more details, as our crew is arriving at the scene shortly, we will be sure to share that information with you at home. Well, right now, superheroes, villains, and everything in between are in Sacramento. And today is the second day of the Fandemic Comic-Con tour at the Convention Center.
Yeah, it's quite a sight there. Celebrities, artists, and comic book writers are there to meet their fans. And you can get autographs, take pictures, and buy the latest comic books and paraphernalia. Cosplay costumes are pretty elaborate, and they were lucky to be in the AC with this heat, but it's all worth it for the fans.
So how often would you say you would just take a cooling break?
Every 25 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Anything more than that, you're going to ruin your arm or ruin your paint.
Can't ruin that costume. Well, that man dressed up as Evil Fett because Evel Knievel and Boba Fett are his 2 favorite characters. Tomorrow, Fandemic continues from 10 to 4 o'clock at the Convention Center. Glad that the AC is pumping in there. All right, well, history behind the wheel. The world's last remaining ban on women drivers is lifted. How it's changing lives in Saudi Arabia.
Plus, going for a dip in the Pacific Ocean, the up-close underwater lessons children with special needs are getting.
And here is a live look at the skyline in downtown Sacramento right now. Of course, we're continuing to track the rising temperatures, but Dirk says a cool down is on the way. We'll be right back.
This is your RAM Auto Update. Like most people, I'm really busy, which can make the thought of buying a car something you might not want to think about. The dealers at the Roseville Auto Mall know how valuable your time is. If you're looking for a new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can save a chunk of change and a whole lot of time. How? Just go online. There's nearly 7,000 vehicles to choose from. Plus, you can even get pre-qualified. That way, you can almost walk in, grab the keys, and drive out. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Whatever it is you like to do, Black Bear Diner. Lots of hearty, good old-fashioned family food to feed your inner bear.
Good old-fashioned family food, Black Bear Diner.
Mom and Dad got a new car with the extra third row seats. They think it's theirs, but it's not theirs. It's mine. Mine.
The new RX 350L with 3 rows for 7 passengers.
Are you excited about your baby sister coming?
Experience space for the unexpected with the Lexus RXL, part of the RX family.
Lease the 2018 RX 350L for $449 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
McCreary's Home Furnishings 4th of July sale starts now. Save on all furniture store-wide for one of the biggest sales of the summer. Come discover huge discounts on great brands like Flexsteel, Bradington Young, Hooker Furniture, Huntington House Upholstery, and more. Need design assistance? Let our interior design team bring it all together with our complimentary design services. Hurry in today. Our 4th of July sale ends soon. It's all happening now under the big red awnings.
An Alzheimer's action plan to protect your brain. Next on the Dr. Oz Show, 10 surprising Alzheimer's triggers that may age your brain, your job, your mate, even the grades you got in school. Take our brand new quiz and fight back. Plus, Melissa Rivers on life after joy.
Do you ever feel like your mom's still around you?
Next Oz.
Monday at 3 on KCRA 3. KCRA 3, honored for overall news excellence 5 years in a row.
This is KCRA 3 News at 6:30.
And welcome back to the news at 6.
And here are your top stories that we are following this evening. Triple-digit heat scorching the valley. For a second day, temperatures are soaring. Here's a live look at Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto, where they are feeling it the most. Be sure to stay hydrated, find a cool place to stay, and use caution if you're going out on the waterways today.
And rallies against separating illegal immigrant families at the border continued today in Texas and California. Protesters demanding that families be reunited as fast as possible and also calling for better conditions for those being detained. President Trump today continued to blame the immigration crisis on former administrations and says agencies are handling the crisis well. Meantime, dozens were injured in an explosion at a rally in Ethiopia today. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed had just finished speaking and was waving to the crowd in the capital when the blast happened. This video capturing the frantic moments after the explosion. The Prime Minister was whisked away as thousands scrambled for safety in the packed square. Abiy became Prime Minister after his predecessor unexpectedly resigned in February. Right now, it's unclear who orchestrated this attack. Meantime, more than 500 migrants rescued while trying to cross the Spanish Mediterranean Sea from North Africa to Spain. Spain's Maritime Rescue Service says those rescued today included 264 people in 16 boats in the Strait of Gibraltar, a busy shipping lane with dangerous currents. 2 men were rescued from a canoe. More migrants are crossing the Mediterranean because of good weather and calmer seas. Also, Spain's new center-left government recently announced a softer stance on migration, extending public health care to foreigners without residence permits.
Well, right now, an historic change in the Middle East country of Saudi Arabia. Women there can now officially drive. The country lifted the last ban in the world on women drivers just hours ago. Women have been lining up for weeks to get their licenses and taking courses in driving. Women no longer will have to rely on their husbands, fathers, brothers, and drivers to run basic errands, to go to work and move around. Women hopped in their cars at the stroke of midnight, excited for newfound freedom.
It's a historical day, to be honest. I'm so excited that I can drive myself around and not wait for a driver, or maybe, I don't know, I'm speechless, to be honest.
Well, women still need permission, though, from a man to get a passport, travel abroad, and to get married. In London, thousands of protesters marched through the streets demanding a final vote on any UK exit deal from the European Union, also known as Brexit. Opponents of the move marched to Parliament on the second anniversary of the UK voting to leave the EU. Britain's official exit date is slated for March 29th, 2019, but the country and its conservative government remain divided about what kind of economic relationship it wants with the EU after leaving the Union. Protesters today said that the people should have the final say on Brexit and not politicians.
The most important thing is that this isn't decided just by 650 politicians in Westminster, that Brexit is such a big deal, it should include all 65 million of us in the country, and that's why people today are marching for a people's vote.
Well, the UK voted to leave the EU by a slim margin of roughly 51% in favor.
Zero-tolerance immigration policy in the U.S. has shifted the world's attention to the southern border, but the policy also appears to be in effect at the northern border with Canada. A French woman visiting her mother in Canada was arrested last month after she accidentally crossed the U.S. border from Canada. The 19-year-old was jogging on a beach in British Columbia when she says she accidentally crossed into Washington state. She was stopped by two U.S. Border Patrol officers who she says told her she had crossed in illegally. She was then arrested and held in an immigration detention center in Tacoma for 2 weeks. The girl's mother said her daughter's arrest was unfair because she says there were no signs warning people of the international border.
A disabled woman says Uber discriminated against her. A Northern Virginia woman who works in Washington, D.C. says that she was denied service by an Uber driver because she uses a wheelchair. And now she's trying to get changes made at the ride-sharing company.
When I was 16 years old, I was involved in a car wreck that caused me to have a spinal cord injury and become a paraplegic.
Kelly Simoneau is a mother, wife, and an attorney who is not at all defined by her disability.
My life doesn't revolve around my wheelchair.
So she was stunned by her Wednesday night encounter with an Uber driver in Pentagon City.
The sole reason that I was not allowed to ride in that Uber was because of my wheelchair.
Kelly called the Uber after meeting a friend for dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. And when the car showed up, she pulled herself into the front seat as she's done countless times before. But as a hotel employee loaded Kelly's wheelchair into the trunk, she says the Uber driver intervened.
He said, no, there's no space for this wheelchair. There's not room in here.
At that point, an angry and embarrassed Kelly got out of the car, yet Uber still charged her for the ride.
It's not really about the $6.80. It's about the fact that I was blatantly discriminated against.
Uber's own discrimination policy says that type of behavior is prohibited, and a company spokesperson says a refund has been issued.
I don't want to have to experience it again, and I don't want anyone else to.
And Uber also says that an investigation is underway and appropriate action will be taken to make it right.
Well, children with special needs are getting a unique scuba experience this weekend. They're learning about the ocean by donning their suits and dipping into the Pacific Ocean. The unique opportunity is both eye-opening and empowering.
Quinn Lockwood is going scuba diving for the first time.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing one of two animals, the monkey-faced eel, which is, I don't know, it's a bizarre name I've never heard of, and the sea hare. I've heard the giant slugs, snails, basically.
He gets to explore the aquarium's dive pool with dozens of other kids with special needs. Quinn was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was just 18 months old.
Sometimes it's a burden, sometimes it's not. I mean, what I'm doing right now, it's all because of diabetes, but it comes with a price. It comes with some pain, a lot of hardship, a lot of other strains, such as counting my carbs, not being able to eat something when I'm high or low.
Today, the only thing he has to worry about is having a good time.
People are coming down. Nice and warm.
It's just a wonderful thing. It is, they never get this kind of experience anywhere else. So we're very thankful to the aquarium, and and they are paying for all of it. So it's just amazing.
Lance's son Nash has autism, and the experience gives him confidence.
At the very end, he is so proud, that he did that, put on the suit, and, because for these kids, it's hard to wear a mask, to get into a tight suit.
You notice a typical scuba diver, we also have to employ adaptations to get in the water. So the Pacific Ocean, we like to call it the great equalizer. We're all equal in the ocean.
A lot of these kids are told no to things they can't do all the time, and this program allows us to say yes, they can do anything they want to do in that tide pool while they're here, and it's really empowering for them.
And the Monterey Bay Aquarium has dozens of exhibits. There are also hands-on exhibits where you can actually touch different kinds of sea life. But what a unique opportunity for those kids to undergo.
Very cool. All right, coming up tonight at 10 and 11, a fight involving drafts and decibels in Sacramento's Midtown. Here's KCRA 3's Tom Miller.
Neighbors frustrated with the noise after a new brewery moves in next door. Tonight, what they're hearing and the proposed solutions.
And World Cup trophies made out of cocaine, how drug cartels are trying to cash in on the world's biggest sporting event. That's tonight at 10 on My 58 and the KCRA 3 News at 11 o'clock.
And still to come on your news here at 6, how the heat can impact your electronics, namely your cell phone. What you need to know to protect your device.
Plus, a bittersweet annual tradition in San Francisco. While the LGBTQ community celebrates Pride Month, they also reflect on how far they've come.
Now we still have some triple-digit heat in the forecast for your weekend, but the Delta breeze will return and some cooler temperatures will arrive. I'll let you know when coming up.
And we continue to follow some breaking news out of Sacramento tonight. We now know that this is a 2-alarm fire happening on 35th Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard. I want to show you some pictures of the scene right now. We do know that firefighters were able to protect at least one structure in the area that was originally reported to be on fire. We've also learned that this is a vegetation fire, but clearly looks like it's actually calming down. Earlier at the top of the hour, we saw some big smoke columns rising up. Our photographer at the scene says neighbors in the area actually tried to put out this fire with their own hoses. It looks like it's actually worked in the firefighting efforts, and of course we'll update you with more information on this fire as soon as we get it in. Meantime, more breaking news, this time coming out of Lake County, where a wildfire is burning right now, and this fire is being centered just northeast of the community of Clear Lake Oaks. Right now, that fire is being listed at 75 acres. Switching gears, and right now big celebrations underway in San Francisco for Pride Month. And San Francisco Pride celebrations usually draws thousands from across California and the nation. An annual event for Pride festivities was erected today.
Yeah, volunteers gathered to install a symbol once used by Nazis to identify gay people in concentration camps. And while it once represented persecution against homosexual prisoners, it now serves as a symbol of overcoming tolerance. Lee Martinez talked to those taking part in the bittersweet tradition.
200 volunteers carefully scaled down the steep hill in unusually hot weather on top of Twin Peaks Saturday morning. It was a labor of love to construct the large pink triangle canvas. The founder of the Pink Triangle Project says the first display in 1996 was a secret project, inspired by a friend who had plans to originally leave the city to celebrate Pride elsewhere.
And now it's turned into a community tradition, even though the original was a renegade crafts project. Went up in the dark of night so we wouldn't get arrested.
The meaning behind the Pink Triangle is a reference to the world's dark history of intolerance and hatred. In Nazi Germany, the Pink Triangle was used by the Nazis in concentration camps to identify homosexual prisoners. The San Francisco Pink Triangle serves as a memorial to those who were persecuted and killed in those concentration camps.
Once the camps were liberated by the Allies, those who wore the Pink Triangle were actually put back in prison under Germany's paragraph 175. So the nightmare continued.
It took volunteers less than 2 hours to finish the modern triangle. It's nearly an acre in size and can be seen for 20 miles. The Once a Renegade project now attracts city leaders and dignitaries from France and Germany.
It's really important because it's unique in the world and it's the biggest Pride in the world ever in San Francisco. So we are looking for inspiration for France.
Tuesday, when our federal president and his wife arrived to a visit to California, and it was deliberately chosen that he would go to California and not to DC. This Tuesday, on the occasion of his visit to San Francisco and the Bay Area, my husband Frank and I were the ones who welcomed him. We were like the first couple.
Today, the Pink Triangle is a celebrated symbol of pride for the LGBTQ community.
I want you all to have a good time this weekend and love each other and be kind to each other. But you must be prepared to fight.
Yeah.
They said, it's been said many times, when fascism comes to America, it will come wrapped in a flag and waving a cross.
But it also aims to educate people on the persecution of homosexuals still happening in other countries and what can happen if hatred and bigotry become law.
And that was Lee Martinez reporting. And tomorrow, the Pride festivities will continue. The parade will kick off at 10:30 in the morning. It goes along Market Street from Beale to 8th. And there is a celebration rally starting at 11 in the morning at Civic Center Plaza. There will be inspirational speakers and performers all day until 6 p.m.
And here at home, we've been following the triple-digit temperatures affecting our area. Let's check in with Dirk for more on what's happening right now.
Yeah, we had that heat yesterday. We have it again today, and it looks like we could see some of that tomorrow. It all depends on when that cooler air finally starts to filter into the Central Valley. Right now, we have clear skies overhead. Beautiful day, but it still is hot. 100 degrees in Sacramento at the Executive Airport, 103 in Stockton, 100 in Modesto, and 80 degrees currently at Lake Tahoe. Winds, we are going to see that north breeze stay with us through tonight, and we will start to see it shift, though, by tomorrow. And so that's going to be the sign that we're looking for some cooler air to start moving in. Officially, Sacramento had a daytime high of 101 degrees. The average temperature this time of year is 90 degrees, and the record for this date back in 1988 was 106 degrees back in 1988 on this date. Air quality forecast. Moderate levels are expected for tomorrow in Sacramento, as well as Stockton. Modesto looking unhealthy for sensitive groups with an AQI of 108. Satellite view shows fairly clear conditions even along the coast. The marine layer, not really there, but it's going to be building back. And as it does, we are going to experience that cool down and that Delta breeze returning. High pressure ridge, though, is moving across our area. We'll see it actually peaking tomorrow. And then as this moves out, it opens the door for some cooler air to move in. So temperatures will start dropping off, first of all, with that Delta breeze. And then just some cooler air across the board is going to move through as we make our way past Monday and on in through the week ahead. And in fact, especially by the end of the work week, by Thursday and Friday, that's when we have this pocket of cooler air start to slide in over Northern California, bringing temperatures into the possibly upper 80s to lower 90s. So we could actually see some air sometimes a little bit cooler than average for this time of year. But for tomorrow, still going to be a fairly hot day. Sacramento maybe 98 degrees. Other areas could get up to 100 degrees. More significant cooling on Monday. We bump it up a little bit on Tuesday and then see temperatures ranging in the mid to low 90s pretty much through the week ahead, with temperatures eventually dropping off into the upper 80s to lower 90s by next weekend. So there is a little relief on the way, but we have one more day where we could see some triple digits.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, hang in there. Thanks, Dirk. All right. Well, the heat also impacts your cell phone. Extreme heat can lead to problems including data loss and corruption. To protect your cell phone, you never want to leave it in the car or in your pocket if it's hot. Place your phone instead in airplane mode or stop using it altogether if it becomes overheated. Also, refrain from charging your phone in direct sunlight. And when in doubt, always leave your phone in a cool area.
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way. All right, switching gears to sports, we have a new Sacramento resident in town.
Indeed we do. Of course, Sacramento Kings officially introducing their newest big man, and NASCAR speeds into Sonoma this weekend with Elk Grove's Kyle Larson searching for his first win on his home track. Could he put himself in position to compete? That answer next in sports.
Now, KCRA 3 Sports, powered by Toyota.
The Sacramento Kings officially introducing their newest king today. The franchise holding a press conference at the Golden One Center with the spotlight centered around the second overall draft pick, Marvin Bagley III. The media taking turns asking questions, getting to know the big man out of Duke, who averages more than 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. Two things are certain: he's hungry to learn and can't wait to get to work.
I think you're going to absolutely love this guy. He is fantastic as a human being and as a player, and that's what I appreciated about. He has an appetite and a desire to learn.
I already flipped the switch yesterday when I landed. I got a workout in, and this morning I got an early workout in before I had to do everything that I had today. But I'm thinking about Summer League right now, just what I can do to help the team win the Summer League.
It's up to him now how far he wants to go. But talking to him, sky is the limit, so he's in a good place.
The San Francisco Giants in the middle of a 4-game series with the San Diego Padres. Pre-game festivities include, of course, the Giants honoring members of the 2002 World Series team. Brandon Crawford breaking out of his slump in a big way. Triple here off the wall in right center field. That drives in Andrew McCutchen to tie things up. And then Crawford breaks this one open. The double to left center. 2 runs come home. A perfect 3 for 3 on the day as the Giants take this one 5-3. The Chicago White Sox snapping the Oakland A's 5-game win streak on Friday. We go to the south side of Chicago. A's pinch hitter and Chicago native Nick Martini picking a perfect time and place for his first major league hit. He breaks the 6-6 tie there in the top of the 8th inning. A full count single up the middle that completes the 5-run rally as the A's win today 7-6. It's day 10 of the World Cup. The defending champs on the brink of elimination. Germany trying to stay alive against Sweden today, playing with only 10 men late. The final minute of stoppage time, Toni Kroos saving the day with the free kick there into the net, the latest goal ever scored by Germany in the World Cup. A dramatic 2-1 victory. We stay in Group F, Mexico and South Korea. El Tri up 1-0 in the 66th minute. Chicharritos, of course, he makes the nice move in the box to, of course, that would be the game winner for his 50th international strike. 2-1 the final as Mexico sits on top of the group with 6 points. Group G play, Belgium and Tunisia. The Red Devils on fire on this one, dropping the hammer on Tunisia. Romelu Lukaku netting his second goal of the match. Of course, he cruises to a 5-2 victory. He sits on top of that group. The California kid Kyle Larson returning to his home track this weekend for the Save Bar 350. The Elk Grove native clocking the fastest lap to win his 6th career pole, 2nd consecutive bye at Sonoma Raceway. Of course, he finished 26th in last year's race. He hopes to avoid a similar fate this time around.
I don't think we have winning speed tomorrow, but neither did Tony Stewart the year that he won, and I'm sure there's other years where people won that they didn't have winning speed but were able to get the job done. So I think as long as we can keep ourselves in position tomorrow, catch some breaks, I think we'll have a good shot.
Round 3 of the Travelers Championship with a packed leaderboard to enter the day. A dreary and cloudy day in Connecticut. The shot of the day, though, belonging to James Hahn. Par 3, 11th hole here, 154 yards, and it is a slam dunk in the cup for the ace. A 4-eagle day on the course for golfers, including this one by leader Paul Casey on the par 4 15th. A round of 62 for him, and he holds a 4-stroke lead going into the final round.
Pretty good lead.
Indeed.
All right, Michelle, thanks.
All right, and before we go, let's get one last look at the weather.
One last look. We're looking at temperatures that are still going to be plenty hot for your Sunday. Temperatures in the upper 90s to around 100 degrees expected. We'll be cooling off slightly as we make our way on into the evening hours. Then that Delta breeze really kicks in. Look at the temperature drop as we make our way through Monday, starting off in the upper 50s and warming into the lower 90s. We get into the mid 90s by Tuesday and then see temperatures dropping off again by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, back to pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. We're looking at plenty of sunshine through the week ahead with overnight temperatures that will be in the 50s. So again, the big thing you're going to notice tonight is much like you saw last night is how warm it's going to stay. It takes a while for temperatures to cool off when we don't have that Delta breeze. It's kind of like being in Bakersfield, where it just doesn't cool down at night. We really take that Delta breeze for granted, and conditions are going to be getting back to that Delta breeze mode as we go into this week.
I noticed on your graphic there, the lows in the evening went from 70 to into the 50s just
big
in
drop.
one day's time.
Yep.
All right.
Thank that Delta breeze. All right, Dirk, thank you. And that does it for us. Thank you for watching the news at 6. We'll see you again back here at 10 on My 58.